One of the biggest financial shifts in the history of our world is currently upon us. A few years ago, 3 years ago to be exact, there was another big shift, and that was the biggest shift that our world had ever seen before. And even from then to now, it is much greater, it's much bigger, and the stakes are higher than they've ever been before. And one thing that will give you an indicator of that is when you think about the price of food, when you think about the price of gas, when you think about the price of things that people have to pay for on a daily basis, those are indicators that a shift is occurring because most people are in the day to day, going to work, barely getting by, or those that are doing okay, but one interest rate can change the entire scope of their business, the entire scope of their entire lives. And when you think about where we are right now, there's so many things that is hinging on the decisions of other people. And there's so many people's lives, whether it goes up or down, unfortunately, it's in the hand of other people who are making these decisions, whether it's, the Federal Reserve and them talking about interest rates and things like that. And so that's impacting entire industries, real estate, mortgage, lend, like it's so many things that their decisions impact on so many different levels. There's so many people that want to buy a house, but their buying power is so much lower than it was even a few years ago, even though the price of homes, was up, if you will, in terms of how they had been. And so when you think about wealth in general, one of the indicators of wealth that has been that case for generations has been real estate. Now that's not the only thing that people can, use to build wealth, but real estate has been one of those things where for decades, for centuries, people have used real estate to build wealth. When you think about the amount of people that are able to afford a home in this day and age, just with the interest rates alone, it's taken so many people out of the game to purchase a home because some people, if the interest rate is 4.2, they can afford a phenomenal home. But if the interest rate is 7.1, they can't afford a home at all because they don't even qualify anymore. So it's gone from people being able to afford a phenomenal home to people not even being able to qualify. And the reality is this, I don't want to come and say that, people are wicked and evil and all of these kind of things. I don't want to come and say that. However, I will say that there are things that are taking place behind the scenes where other people are benefiting a great deal more than others. I'll say that. And I'll also say that even though a lot of people can't afford to buy certain things because of the interest rates, there are so many people that are behind the scenes that are not publicizing what they're doing, and they are snatching things up one by one, whether it's cars, whether it's houses, because it's puzzling to me to think about that somebody's paying $900 or $1,000 a month on a car note, and it's not like a fancy name that you would think of. It's not a luxury vehicle, if you will. These are just everyday average cars that people are paying $900 to $1,000 and even upwards for. And so that's getting to the point where their car note costs more than where they live. And at one point, it's like, okay, rent, mortgage, that was the most expensive thing. But now you have car notes that are easing up and almost surpassing how much rent that somebody's paying. So when you think about gas, you think about food, you think about where somebody lives, and you think about transportation, people are really getting to a point where they're starting to question, is it even worth working anymore? Especially people that have kids. It's like daycare. Like, is it even worth working anymore? And so people are starting to get to a point where they're trying to figure out ways of how can they reduce their lifestyle? How can they reduce their stress? And so people are not even becoming as ambitious as they once was to achieve certain goals that they've had in their heart for a very long time. And so they're settling because they're just thinking about survival. They're not thinking about thriving anymore. And when people get in that mindset, it literally starts to become something that affect the minds of other people. And when you have a group of people in a massive amount of people that starts to get into the mindset of how can they just survive? Like how can they downsize? How can they minimize? How can they cut here? You now have a movement of people that are not only willing to give up what's rightfully theirs, they're not only willing to give up their hopes and their dreams, but they're also willing to give up their wealth. Because here's the reality, all of us, like this world, there's so much wealth in this world that it's enough for everybody to be super wealthy, wealthier than we ever can think, hope, or imagine. And when you think about people that are giving up their wealth, that means that now it's just more wealth for those that are not willing to give up. It's more wealth for those that don't follow what they're telling you to do on the news. That's more wealth for those that are not giving into all of the fear mongering and, the world is crashing and the world is burning down and the sky is falling. It's more wealth for those people, because here's the reality. Even though people are struggling financially, and some of those people are struggling financially, it's really not the fault of their own. And I know sometimes we can look at people and it's like, yeah, it's their fault alone. But sometimes it's no fault of their own, because there was no possible way that they could have predicted what happened to them, how and when it happened to them. Now, other people, not so much the same thing. And when you think about so many people being in these situations, the possibility and the opportunity for them to build wealth is not that it has been eliminated, but it's just not their main focus. Because when you're just focused on getting through today, you're not thinking about generational wealth. You're not thinking about later on. You're not thinking about, let's see, you're thinking about right now, today. And so many people are in that mindset because they're fearful and they're scared. And sometimes fear is actually pumped into our media on purpose, because the more that people fear, the more that you can control them. And people are more open and susceptible to do whatever, somebody who sounds like they have the answer commands or instructs them to do. And so often what people don't realize is that there are so many messages that are being displayed that's really conditioning people to give up everything, own nothing, be satisfied, and be happy. And that is no life to live whatsoever. And right now, I really believe in my heart that there is more opportunity to make money than has ever been in the history of the world. There are so many different ways to make money. There are so many different careers and jobs and business ideas that are opening every single day that did not exist the day before. Not even the year before, but the day before. So people are making money all kinds of ways. And what I want to encourage you to do is focus more on what you want versus the thing that you fear and what you don't want. Because there's something called the reticular activation system. And what that is just, a very fancy word that says whatever you focus on, you're going to see that more so than you see anything else, because that is exactly what you're focused on. And when somebody focuses on fear, the reticular activation system is going to show you everything with fear in it, because that's what you've programmed it to do. But when you program your reticular activation system to focus on opportunity, making money, abundance, being blessed, being happy, like business opportunities, financial money-making opportunities, it's going to look for those things at every given place. And it's going to find things that was always there, but you never saw it because you didn't focus on it. And right now, the wealth transfer that is taking place, it's been happening for a while. Right now, it's just accelerating. And many of us, we don't even know it. And I'll say this too. Wealth is not just about money. Wealth is also about time. Wealth is also about relationships. And when you think about where people are right now, people need relationships more now than ever. People need connection now more than ever. People need community now more than ever. And so many people are disconnected in their own silos, tucked away by themselves, and that causes them to even fear more because they're not connected to other people. And that's a part of wealth. And so the other transfer that has taken place is there's still small communities of people that are becoming more and more close knit every single day. And their bond is very, very strong, and there's nothing that can break it. And a lot of those people are blocking out the entire world in the news and all of the negativity within it. And they're creating their own reality. And the reality is this: it's all a story. What they create is a story. The things that is inputted in Fox and negative news and CNN, it's all a story. And the reality is this: if you can create a story that's more empowering for you versus one that keeps you rooted in fear and poverty and stuck, and anxiety, why not take the one that's going to empower you if both of them are stories anyway? And when you think about wealth, wealth is something that is your birthright. Whether you've ever obtained it or not, it is your birthright to be wealthy. Yes, you might have had some struggles. You might have had some setbacks. You might have had people that pushed the goalpost, and the finish line further and further away. You might have had all of that, but it still does not change that wealth is your birthright. You were born to be rich. You were born to be wealthy. And you were born with something inside of you that is meant to serve other people at a very, very high level. And that is one of many ways that is your ticket to wealth. So often we think that things are saturated because so many other people are doing it. So we don't even want to do it. And we go on to the next thing in our mind, mentally and emotionally, without even trying the first thing first, because we just give up and we quit because we see so many other people doing it. And we don't realize that when a lot of other people are doing it, that is an indication that it works. That's also an indication that is what people want and what they're willing to pay for. But here's the bigger thing. Even though there's other people doing it, your tribe is still suffering in silence because their leader never showed up. Their shepherd never showed up. Because these other people, that's not their shepherd. That's not their leader. You are. Because there are some people that will only get what they need. They will only receive. They will only take action. They will only make changes in their life because of you. And I know that might be hard for you to believe, but it's true. And we all have our tribes. Your tribe might not be my tribe. My tribe might not be your tribe. Our tribe might not be their tribe. But we all have a tribe. I, myself, I belong to tribes. I have mentors. I have people that lead me. I also have people that follow me. Also have people that I lead. But it's something for everybody. We're all leaders in our own right. But it is our birthright to be wealthy. It is our birthright to be rich. It is our birthright to live in abundance. And the only way that we obtain any of those things is when we put service above self. And we think about, how can I serve other people? And I don't want to minimize this, but when you think about the most wealthiest people in the world, they serve and they solve problems. The most wealthiest people in the world, they solve the biggest problems. And so I want to challenge you, what problem can you solve? Because right now there are so many people in droves that are extremely fearful. And they're willing to pay any amount of money to get out of that pain and get out of the fear. And really, it's not even about a pain that's real. It's more of about a pain that's imagined. Because one of the greatest things that can torture people in this world, one of the greatest punishments in this world that has ever existed, is anticipation. And so often people anticipate the worst without the worst ever even happening. And that's where so many people are. And they're willing to pay any amount of money to get out of that potential pain because it's not even real. It's a story. And just like that's a negative story, positive stories are also created by so many other people who are providing solutions, building wealth, and living legacy lifestyles that a lot of people only dreamed of, but only very few wake up to actually obtain it, grab it, live it, and model it for other people. And I want that for you. And I don't want it for you just for the sake of wanting it for you. I want it for you because somebody is on the other side suffering as a result of you not stepping up to the plate and you not delivering to this world that could only be delivered by you. Now that could be so many different things. And it's not to say that you have to become some kind of business owner. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But what I'm saying is this: you have some type of assignment, and people are waiting for you to rightfully take on your assignment so that they can actually move forward to their assignment. Because we don't realize that sometimes our assignment is connected to somebody else's assignment. Somebody else's assignment is connected to our assignment. And when we don't do our assignment, we don't do our part, we don't allow them to move forward in theirs. Now, it's only a matter of time before the assignment that's given to you is going to be given to somebody else. So it doesn't hold up the other people for too long. But I want to encourage you, if you've had a vision, idea, or a dream, like something in your heart, whether it's online, offline, starting a coaching program, a mentoring program, a YouTube channel, courses, like it doesn't matter, whatever it is. If you've had anything on your heart, I challenge, encourage you, and I pray that somebody, if not me, but somebody else inspires you to take action and move forward and go after it, because the world, it needs you. And if you don't give the world what it truly desires, it's going to die of starvation, because you never quenched the thirst and the hunger that it awaited for in you. And this wealth transfer that's taking place, it's not even in the stock market. Although a lot of people are talking about stock market and a lot of people are investing in the stock market. And I encourage you that if you wear something on a daily basis, if you support something like iPhones, Nikes, Apple, whatever, like if those things are in your home, it's important for you to have ownership in those companies so that you are buying and wearing and supporting a part of your business that you rightfully own as a stock. But that's not what I'm talking about. Because stocks, crypto, real estate, all of those kind of things, that's not even the wealth transfer that I'm talking about. The wealth transfer that I'm talking about is people truly stepping up into their rightful role, providing services, demonstrating leadership, and making a lot of money from it. And I know that sounds really simple and it might be oversimplified. But the best thing that we can do is to stop playing life on hard mode and overcomplicating things, because we see people that are making money, they're living lifestyles, and it seems like, man, it is so simple, but we keep looking for the hard because we have been tricked, programmed, and we believe that it has to be more than that. So we keep looking for all of the answers outside of the answers that's really the answers. We're looking past the solution. And we're trying to find hard because we've been conditioned that in order for it to really work, in order for it to really be worth something, in order for it to really be valuable, it has to be hard. And it's not. And that's why so many people are not successful, because they have jumped over, blindfolded themselves, and totally ignored success because they're looking for the hard button. And it's not hard. It's not easy, but it's simple. And it's time to wake up. Stop playing hard mode on life and truly take the simple path. I won't even say easy, but the simple path. And for some people, wealth, it might not even really be about money at all, but it's about time and it's about relationships. Because really, freedom, finances, and fulfillment, that's really what life is all about. Like those three things. And so often people spend so much money, time, energy, and effort trying to get fulfillment or trying to get free. And they're just spinning their way into bondage, even though they have a lot of money. But when you really think about what life is all about, when we get to the end of our lives, we're going to ask 3 questions. That's it. Did I live? Did I love? And did I matter? Money is not even going to be on the horizon of questions or things that are in our consciousness that we've been thinking about. We're going to be thinking about, did I live, did I love, and did I matter? And when you can do those things right now, in this day and age right now, you will have money in abundance to you. Maybe you won't become a billionaire, but you know what? Maybe you don't even need $1 billion. So often people pursue things that they don't even want. They pursue things because this is the new standard that society has set to say that we think you want. And so when you step up to where we say you've won, then you've won. But you have not won. Because if you win in their eyes, but you're losing in yours internally, you're still a loser. That's it. And if you got anything going on internally, whatever happened externally, it doesn't even matter. But when you get to a point where you identify what winning is to you internally and you obtain that, whatever happens outside of you, it doesn't matter. And so there's certain levels of money that people don't even desire, but they chase it because this is what society says is wealth. And so often they get there and they're depressed, they're tired, they're, out of shape, health, like there's so many different compromises that have taken place. Now they have to spend that money just trying to get back healthy. And what I'm saying is this: there are certain things that you can do right now that doesn't require money. There's things that you could do right now to figure out, how can I leverage and maximize my time? There's things that you could do right now to give you a level of fulfillment that no billionaire in the world might not ever be able to experience, but you can right now. And I want to encourage you to pursue that. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying to not pursue money. I am saying 100% pursue money, because I am. But what I'm saying is this: understand that money is not the most important thing, but it is important. However, when you couple money with freedom and fulfillment, that is the ultimate level of wealth that any of us can ever experience. And I truly believe in my heart that when you serve those that you are assigned to serve and you help them to get to the highest level that they're supposed to get to, and you operate at the highest level that you're supposed to operate at, you're going to get fulfillment. You're going to get the finances. And then ultimately, you're going to get the freedom. Because when you fulfill your purpose and now you have time to actually sit back and enjoy spending time with those that you love, and now you have the money and you watch people that you help, to flourish and prosper, that's going to bring you a level of fulfillment that money can never buy. However, the thing that money does do is it buys you better memories. It buys you other people to be able to do certain things that maybe they can't do. It gives you the ability to maybe buy somebody else's freedom, because maybe they don't have to work anymore because your money caused them and allow them to fire their job. But either way, freedom, finances, and fulfillment, that is the ultimate wealth transfer. And right now, this is the biggest wealth transfer that's ever happened, because so many people, they're giving up their wealth for the sake of fear. They're trading in their wealth for fear. They're trading in all of the birthright and the abundance that they're supposed to have for fear. So what does that mean? That means that it's just more opportunity for people like you and I, and those that have decided that we're going to create our reality and not allow somebody to just make one up for us. Because when we look at the news, when we look at the housing crisis, when we look at the rates and the Federal Reserve and all these different things, you can become hopeless. But that's a story as well. That's a story, because it's not true. And so if you can create an empowering story and serve people with the gifts that are inside of you, that's when you live a fulfilled life. And that's when you truly experience one of the greatest wealth transfers that have ever taken place in our world. And it gives you the ability to leave generational wealth on a much higher level than you ever thought, hoped, or even imagined.